and it's a beautiful thing, is that we've seen it too many times, and we've done it ourselves through experience at the end of the day, and we've seen these things happen because we didn't want to listen to God. We didn't want to listen to Jesus. We didn't want to take heed to the knowledge. We didn't want to take heed to the good news. See, the beautiful thing about it is people pray so much to get some good news, is that by the time they get the good news, they already used and programmed to the bad news. You know what I'm saying? And that's the bad thing about it, is like people, they get to that point where they so reluctant, to even grow. And so by that time that opportunity does come, we like, nah, we ain't doing this no more. We ain't taking opportunity and taking advantage, and we still finna take the situation for granted at the end of the day. Just 6 months ago, you were so reluctant at the end of the day, and you kind of just pulled back too far. It's a good thing to pull back as human beings and look at our situation, but sometimes we pull back a little too far and we go back to the situation we just came from, and we don't want to be a part of that. We can't allow that to happen to ourselves, especially with the knowledge that we even got, because we can study the knowledge, but if we're not applying it, it's still not going to matter. And so, like I said, 2.5 months ago, I was working at a job. I love the work, don't get me wrong. I love the work, I love the people there, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, I said a prayer to God, I said a prayer to the Lord about it, and right now God said, hey son, I want you in a position to do software development right now and do some audio production. So with that being said, if God doesn't want me doing audio production and software development in my near future, he's going to put me in a position to where I got to do something else, and so I'm just taking advantage of the situation, not taking it for granted. So the beautiful thing about it is, because you were so reluctant at that one point, by the time opportunity does come, you're going to F the opportunity off, and you might try to rush that relationship with baby and F that off, or baby might try to rush that relationship with dude over there and might F that off. You don't really know who they is, what they about behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know what they be on. They might publicly try to come off as a child of God, but deep down they might be a child of the devil downstairs, and you just want to be careful with the whole world, and really be careful on who you associating with, who you letting into your life. At the end of the day, I'd rather just stick to myself without being reluctant, and I'd rather just stick to myself and just pray to the Lord about it and love God and appreciate the things that God does give to me at the end of the day, because a lot of us at the end of the day, we don't appreciate the small things that God does for us every day. We don't appreciate these things that the Lord does do for us, you know what I'm saying? And so we take these things for granted, and we become a little too reluctant, and then we miss the opportunity. Then we go back to the situation we just fought 10 years to get out of, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to be going out like that at the end of the day. So like I said, when I quit my job, I didn't quit, I resigned. I didn't just quit. No, I went to the supervisor and I told them, hey, I'm going to resign because I don't like the way y'all talk to me. I didn't tell him that, but I told him, like, hey, I'm just going to resign. It's about time I move on from this. You know what I'm saying? But the beautiful thing is that I'm not addicted to drugs. I'm not addicted to alcohol. I'm not in debt. I don't have all these credit cards in my name. I don't have a weird STDs, and even though my medical condition is healed, I've been off the medication, I don't have any serious life-threatening conditions. I'm not in the ER. I'm not in the hospital. I'm not some bum junkie on the side of the road, for that matter. I'm not some devil worshiper out here getting ready to go do all this crazy stuff they doing to these schools and these churches and these public places and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And that's the beautiful thing, is that if you not that, you're not some criminal committing crimes and in and out of jail. See, I'm somebody that by the time I was in like 7th to 8th grade, I was already going back and forth to court, you know what I'm saying? Probation coming to the schoolhouse, checking up on me. I gotta bring my court papers. I was already dealing with that, and I'm not dealing with that no more. I dealt with that for 6.5 years, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't dealing with that no more, you know what I'm saying? And I'm somebody that could talk about that because I actually lived it and I actually experienced it at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of individuals, they gonna talk about things they've never lived and never been through at the end of the day, and that's fine. They can do that. They can throw in their 2 cents, but they never lived it. They ain't never been incarcerated. They ain't never been like, damn, yeah, they probably spent one day behind bars over a car warrant. Hey, that's cool, but you ain't done no year. You ain't done no 2 years. You ain't done no 10 years. You done baby time. You went down and you was just in holding for 3 hours and they let you go. You know what I'm saying? So it's best for you to just sit down and learn from us OGs who's done a year or more. I done a year. That's the longest bit I did, but all the time I done together was more than a year. If I add it all up, so I've been incarcerated 4 times. No, it wasn't the longest, but at the same time, I get to talk about that at the end of the day. So the beautiful reality is, hey, bro over here might have a better car. Bro over here might have more money. Bro over here might have a more expensive necklace, more expensive watch, whatever it is. But if you ain't never been incarcerated, it's about time you shut up and let me show you the ropes now, youngster. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm an OG out here and I'm trying to school you and save your life. You know what I'm saying? You got these young men out here who telling you that working a job is a trap and this and that, da da da. That's the nonsense. That's the childish, you know, things coming out of people's mouths at the end of the day, because what they don't understand is they not the ones out here working a job, right? And like I said, I'm not working a job, but what I'm saying is these jobs been paying people's mortgages, been getting people health benefits for centuries now. These jobs is paying people's bills at the end of the day. These corporations is willing to hire some of these decent people and pay their rent for them, pay their bills and give them money and stuff, whoop-de-whoop. So these youngsters out here don't know what they talking about. They just young men at the end of the day living in their pride. But one day they gonna understand what it's like to be that guy in that cell for a year. One day they don't understand what it's like where they get up and go to the store and the dude that's way bigger than you might be on some drugs and try to mess with your family. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reality. That's why you got to understand and be prepared, and that life ain't all about just looking cute in front of these cameras talking about McLarens and shit. Excuse my language, but there's more to life than that at the end of the day. And you could feel how you want, but at the end of the day, I'm speaking reality, and I live the reality that these dudes ain't lived. And that's the thing, is that they can't come into our reality and change the experiences we had, but our experiences for sure will shape their life, because they can look at when we was incarcerated and say, I for sure don't ever want to know what it's like to go to jail, not even for a week, because you don't, young man. You don't ever want to know what it's like to get incarcerated even for 24 hours just because of that guilt. Even if you didn't commit a crime, just because of that guilt, bro, those police are gonna look at you and process it and be like, yeah, bro, you a sucker. I'm going home to my wife. I'm going home to my kids. I'm getting coffee. I'm getting McDonald's after this shift. You know what I'm saying? While you sitting around rotting in jail. And I'm going to tell y'all now is that the job is not a trap at the end of the day. What is the trap is the people that's trying to tell you it's the trap. That job is going to pay your bills, bro. That job is going to give you an opportunity to grow at the end of the day if you stay humble and humble yourself. See, the man that say not to humble yourself is speaking from the spirit of the devil. That's the man you need to slap through the camera at the end of the day. You need to turn that stuff off and keep it pushing at the end of the day, because you got to remain humble in these end times that we're living in. So if God got you doing audio production right now, then do your audio production. If God got you working your job right now, then work your job. If God got you doing talking in front of these cameras, then talk in front of these cameras. If God got you in the military right now, then you do your G.I. Joe's thing. You know what I'm saying? If God got you playing sports, you play your sports. But never let another man question you. Never let another man bully you. Never let another man punk you, point on you, spit on you, and nothing like that. As a man, that's what it means to be a man, and I defend myself. Because no other man can punk me. There ain't a chip on my shoulder. I ain't the toughest man on the planet. I'm not Bruce Lee, but you know what I'm saying? No other man can bully me, and I'm just going to sit there and keep my mouth shut. I'm going to defend myself, and that's what it is at the end of the day. God bless y'all.